We're excited to see all of your faces and invite you to join us in Ireland next year if it works out. We actually have our group for Irish Gold 2024 flying out today. So very exciting to have that. CIE is a wonderful tour operator that we're working with for this tour. And we have Roger from CIE that will be doing the presentation today. So I'm going to first introduce to you Kelly Burgeon. She will be our Bursch Travel escort along with her husband for next year's tour. So Kelly, if you want to say hi.
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. I'm excited to host the tour. I have been to Ireland. I did take a 2-week trip there a few years ago and loved every minute of it, and I can't wait to go back.
That's wonderful. And I should introduce myself. I'm Jill Fisher. You will see me on your registration information when you're signing up for the tour. So I kind of work with you to get you all set and payments done and any questions along the way. So nice to meet everybody. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Roger from CIE.
Good afternoon. I'm Roger Kramer. I'm with CIE down here in tropical Chicago. Where it is today, it's in the 70s. We've been in the 90s and 95s for the last, seems like 3 months. So it's very comfortable today. But what I'd like to do is start the program, and you're gonna have to bear with me a second to be sure that we are doing it correctly. And as Jill said, it's we are taking the Irish Gold, and you're going to be going over May 17th, returning May 25th of next year. I'm going to give you a little bit of a background of CIE. We've been in business over 90 years. I like to do this because Jill said that she would give a free trip to anybody that said they knew what CIE stood for. I'm putting her right on the spot.
Do I know the answer? We're not sure.
You don't know the answer? All right. CIE stands for Chorus Impa Errands. And you're going to ask me, well, why? Because we're a division of the Irish government. We've been under that heading for some 90 years. There are 2 other companies that you probably know. It's the Irish Tourist Board, and as well as Aer Lingus is under that heading as well. We not only do Ireland, and that's where we started, but we've expanded out into Italy and Iceland and Scotland and England. But we also now, starting next year, we're going to be going into Spain and down into Sicily. So we are in a slow growth. The coaches, I'm going to show you in a moment. The hotels we use are 4- and 5-star hotels because we're under the Irish government. You're going to find that we come out with quality programs. The biggest thing that's on here is at the very bottom where it says no options, and we do not sell options. Everything that is in the itinerary is what you're going to get, and I'll probably be explaining more as we go. These are the coaches, and this year we purchased 32 new ones. And they have the state of the art in it because they have not only Wi-Fi in there that you can hook up, they have plugins for your computers, for your cameras. So it is very complete and very comfortable. You're going to be flying over into Dublin, and to get you an idea, Ireland itself is only 150 miles wide by 300 miles north to south. It is full of beauty, full of culture, full of history, and the people. And I'll explain that in a little bit. And what I'm going to do, so I don't distract myself, I am going to disappear. What we'll do is you're going to be arriving into Dublin in the afternoon, or excuse me, in the morning, but you're going to be met at your hotel by our guide who's going to take you around. But I do want to explain one thing to you. When you arrive into Dublin, you are going to be met by one of our assistants right at the airport. They will tell you where you're going to go, and you're going to take your luggage out to the coach. And then the driver will load it onto the coach. From then on out, we take care of your luggage. The luggage is going to be taken to the hotel. The porters will take it out and put it outside your room. You bring it in, take what you need the next day. Or 2 days when you're ready to leave, you put it back outside the door. We take care of taking it out to the coach. There is no tipping for the porters in the handling of your luggage. I like to point out some of these features because on the flyer that you're going to be receiving, if you haven't received it as yet, it'll give you a day-by-day itinerary. I like to put pictures to the words, and so that's why I've done this. And this is from the many trips that I have been there. I like to point out the Henny Penny Bridge that goes across the Livy River. Back in the day when it was built, it cost a penny to go across this bridge. If it in today's standards, it would probably be $10, but they discontinued that a number of years ago. But you're going to have an opportunity to go around on the tour with the driver guide, and you're going to be seeing the sights and sounds of Dublin alone. And it is a busy city. And you're going to see, whether it be the main street here on McConnell Street, you're going to have an opportunity to go by the national park, which is located right in Dublin. And at the other end of this park is where the ambassador for the United States has his home. I like to point out some of the buildings, which I think are very unique. And of course, they're very colorful, as you can see. But as you notice, the windows, as they start going to the top, they get smaller. And the reason why that is because the rich lived on the bottom, the middle income in the middle, and the poor lived on the top. There are no elevators in these buildings. And that was one of the reasons. Another interesting tidbit is the doors. They are all brightly colored now. Back in the day, the Queen of England, because she had the rule then, wanted all the doors painted black. So all the doors were painted black. The problem was when Murphy and Patty went out to the pub and had 7 or 8 or 10 too many pints, they came back, went through that black door, went up to their room and crawled into bed. Unfortunately, those two ended up in the wrong place with the wrong wives. So next morning, the wives got together. They must have a union or something, because they all got together and they all painted the doors a different color. So that way Patty and Murphy wouldn't make the same mistake twice. But you're going to hear tales. The driver guide, I have to probably preempt myself here. He's probably kissed the Blarney Stone maybe 1 or 2 many times, because he's got a story about everything that you're going to see and hear about in Ireland. The St. Patrick's Cathedral is an absolutely exquisite cathedral, as you can see. I think the town of Dublin was built around it because it is just magnificent. You're going to go in here and you're going to see that Jonathan Swift and his wife Stella, who Jonathan Swift was the president of this, are buried right in the floor of the cathedral. And it absolutely is a beautiful cathedral, and you can see this. This is your hotel when you're in Dublin the first night. And it's absolutely unique, and it is beautiful. I told you about the 4- and 5-star hotels, and they are. All right. You're going to be going to the other side of the island, and I told you it's only 150 miles wide, but when you go from Dublin and you go to the points down there at the bottom, you're going to see how far out into the ocean they go. But on the way here, you're going to be going through Eltone. And what is unique about this particular town, besides the castle that is located right in the central, is Sean's Bar. What's the reputation? They were serving beer there at 900 AD. It's the oldest pub in Ireland. And in some cases, depending on who you talk to, they say that that's also the oldest pub in Europe. But it is absolutely unique. And you're going to go in, and I don't care where you go, in any pub that you go to, you're going to usually see a fireplace, and it's going to have peat being burnt. And especially when you're going over there in the time you're going, it's possible that you'll be seeing these fireplaces in use. But it is a unique pub. Leaving there, you're going to head out to Galway. Galway, it's one of my favorite towns. There's another one that even ranks a little bit higher, and you're going to be going there. But I just wanted to point out, if you've heard or have not heard, if you'll notice above the red building to your left here, you're going to see a circular thing. That is called the Collada ring. It is made in Ireland, and I'll explain more later. But as you can see, there's a heart, there's a hand in their crown, and I'll explain the history behind that. Below and I had to take a picture of this because I enjoy this place. It was the King's Head Pub. And I have to tell you, you're going throughout Ireland, and whether you taste Guinness or you taste Coke, you must go into the pubs because that's where the people are and that is where the entertainment is at. You can go down the street here and find another pub, and you're going to find other great music throughout as you go. What happens is the locals get together, and this is where they jam. The night that we were in there was very unique because we were sitting right, and they have a stage there where the entertainment was at. And all of a sudden, these two guys from behind us, actually there were three, they got up and started dancing, and I thought they were just going to do the Irish jig. But they went even further. They were fantastic, just watching them. So when they came back and sat down, we asked them, do you guys perform professionally? And they said, yes, we perform for Riverdance. So maybe some of you have seen or heard about Riverdance, but it is phenomenal, and these guys were great. But you're going to hear, and you'll have stories throughout these pubs. This happens to be the Spanish Gate, and this is well known. It's probably one of the most photographed around Galway, for the simple fact this is where the galleons came up from Spain to do their trades with the Irish, and then take merchandise back to Spain. Off to the right there, through the crack here, you're going to see a village, and that's the Collada village. I told you about the Collada ring. Well, at this village, uh, this couple, actually, they were engaged. He was a fisherman, went out one day, and unfortunately did not return because he was then pirated to Spain. Pirates got a hold of him. He ended up down there for about 10 years in that vicinity. But while he was there, he learned blacksmith. So when he came back, they released him. He came back. That young lady that he was engaged to was waiting for him. She just knew that he hadn't perished. So he then created the Collada ring, which means, as you saw it, the point, if the heart points outward, that means that the young lady is available. If it points inward, she's either engaged or she is going to be married. This goes way back in history. You're going to find the Collada ring all throughout Ireland. It is something that you possibly want to purchase. But on your tour around Galway, and you're going to be seeing a variety of things, whether it be the museums, you're going to also see the cathedral. The university is located up here. This particular cathedral happens to be where the Kennedys went there, and you're going to find a plaque in there of John Kennedy. But the Central Park, where most of your shopping is at, or your hotel is located, and your hotel is the Gulma. Great hotel. I think you'll thoroughly enjoy it. And it's a walking distance to pubs and shops, so it's convenient. From Galway, you're going to be going out to an area that I like to pronounce, and it's Connemara. There's something about the name Connemara that just rings, but it absolutely is beautiful. If you remember that the view or the pictures of Dublin, you can see how hustle bustle it is. Once you leave Dublin and get out into the countryside, it is absolutely gorgeous. And there's a picture around every corner. I want to make sure that you take plenty of, my kids love this, make sure you take plenty of film because you're going to be taking pictures a lot. And it is beautiful. You'll even see where I mentioned to you earlier peat. Well, you're going to see how they farm it. And they actually use this, not as much now as they did, but the peat is what they use to burn in their fireplaces or for heat. And some of that is over 1,000 years old. But you can see how beautiful it is. And you're going to have an opportunity to go out into the Kilkenny Loch. There are 365, it's 9 miles long, but you're not going to be doing all of it. There's 365 islands that are all throughout here, but it absolutely is a beautiful cruise. This is another favorite, Kilmore Abbey. Kilmore Abbey, would you believe, was a wedding gift by her husband, who was a Irish or English merchant, and he felt that he loved her so well that much that he provided this as their wedding gift. Now, I don't know if there are gentlemen on this call that what you got your wife, I got mine slippers. I couldn't afford to do a castle, but you can see it is absolutely beautiful. They lived in it for about 10-15 years. She was unfortunately died down in Egypt. She got a disease. He then brought her back and then built a chapel for her off to the right of this. So you should walk down to see the chapel. But it's one of the most photographed abbeys all throughout Ireland, and you can see why. It's nestled right into a mountainside. The gardens around it, and you're going to find, whether it's a castle, an abbey, you're going to find beautiful. And at the time of year you're there, it's going to be absolutely gorgeous as far as the flowers and everything are concerned. Coming back up to Galway, and I urge you to walk around and see the various places that you can go to as far as shoppings and pubs. From there, we're going to leave and we're going to go on down all the way to Killarney. And while we're doing that, we're going to go through the Barren area. I told you, well, I didn't tell you. I am telling you now. Ireland is 40 shades of green, and I'm telling you, it is beautiful. But you're going to find areas that are not necessarily green, and that is the Barren area. This is from over 6 million years ago, where the glaciers were receding from Ireland, and they literally scraped the grounds bare. Now it is slowly coming back and flowers are starting to come in. But I have to tell you, these flowers are rare because of the fact that some of them come in from the Middle East or Antarctica and other points that the birds bring them up and put the seeds, and this is how they grow. And it is absolutely unique. But going from the bare to this is very unique, and you will see that. One of our, believe it or not, one of our biggest attractions is sheep herding. You're going to have the opportunity to see how the sheep dogs act with the sheep. I like to call him a sheep herder or the farmer. All he has to do is whistle, snap his fingers, or just make a sound, and these dogs know exactly what to do. They start training them at 12 weeks old. And I'm telling you, it is impressive what they can do. All right, we're heading down, and we went from Galway right along the coast, and you're going to go to the Cliffs of Moher. The Cliffs of Moher are 700 feet high, and they face out to the Atlantic Ocean. You can see, in fact, I will point, you can walk along the right there all the way up to O'Brien's castle or tower, as well as you can walk, let me go back again, if you will, and come the way that I did. Some people will come this way because they want to take pictures over the edge. You can't over here. I urge you not to really push this. It may look like I'm right by the edge, but I'm not. I'm probably about 15, 20 feet back because it goes straight down. And you've got to understand what you're looking at here is limestone, and the weather beats on that, and it eats away below you. We walked in there, or not walked in, we drove in with a full coach of people, and we only left with half. I'm not really too sure where the other ones went. Maybe they're still in the gift shop. I don't know. But you can see that you can climb all the way up to O'Brien's tower. You're heading again south, and instead of, oh, I'd like to go back to the map, but I won't at this time. If we were to go, we're right along the coast, and we take this ferry, if you want to call it that, across. We load the coach on the back of it, and it takes about 25 minutes to get across the Shannon River. So you can get out and take pictures or do whatever you want over that 25 minutes. But if we went by road, we would go through Limerick. It takes about 2.5 hours then to get to the point we're going. And this is where the ferry docks, and you're heading down to Killarney. I told you earlier, Galway is one of my favorite towns, but this is the number one. I just love Killarney. There is so much to see and do here. And your hotel is, well, I'll show it to you in a second. But there are restaurants here that if you want to go out and dine, or you can go to the pubs, they're all over it. The shopping is phenomenal. It is a great town to be in. That evening, you're going to be going out for some Irish entertainment. And I'm telling you, it's a lot of fun. And this is where you'll be having dinner. You do get breakfast, and if I may, you do get breakfast and dinner most every day. It's an Irish American breakfast, and I'm telling you, it is a lot. And at dinner, in most cases, you get 4 to 5 items off the menu to order. I must tell you, we do not include lunch. And the reason why we don't do that, or why we do that, is because not everyone eats lunch, for one. Number two, we stop in a town for 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And if we then take a coach and have the people go in to a restaurant, it could take 2 to 3 hours, and we don't want to do that. It takes away of seeing the city or the town, or it takes away from shopping or the sightseeing. Or you can do all three. You can go eat as well. Go into a pub, have your fish and chips or shepherd's pie. But this is where I think you'll enjoy it. This is your hotel. You walk out that front door and go left and the block, and you're right in the center of town. And this used to be an old railroad hotel, and it is, the rooms are big, the ceilings are high. It's a very unique hotel, and I think you'll enjoy this. Okay, you're going to be heading out to the Ring of Kerry. Ring of Kerry now, it is actually the furthest point into the Atlantic on all throughout Europe. It goes that far out into the Atlantic. But before you go, you're going to be taking a horse-drawn jaunting cart, and this is going to go out into the national park right by Killarney. You'll see red-tailed deer. You're going to see not only ponds, but lakes, waterfalls. It's absolutely unique and beautiful area. You'll also have an opportunity to see the locks, and right on the locks, you'll see the Ross Castle. But going out now into the Ring of Kerry, you're going to find that you're going to see actually the mountain ranges, again, waterfalls, to peat, to goats on side of hills. I foolishly did climb up here and take a picture of this. It was fine going up, coming back down. That was another challenge. So I don't really recommend it. But it is a very beautiful area. And the Atlantic Ocean comes in all the way around. And you can see the roads are very narrow. That car almost takes up the whole road. Can you imagine a coach? Now the roads go in one way and you go out the other way. It's a one-way road. But these are the type of beauty that you're going to see. Did I tell you to take plenty of film? I hope so, because you're going to be taking a lot of pictures. Moriarty's is an exclusive with us. In here, you're going to find the finest in tweeds, sweaters, to colada rings, to whatever you want. this is definitely a place to purchase. You're going to see places all over, but this one here happens to be of top quality. And heading back down to Killarney, you're going to be going through various fishing villages, as well as back into the city itself. Now, just to give you, so you know where you are, the hotel is to our right, and so it's a block up. So this will give you an indication as to where you are and where the town is, how the town is situated. Okay, leaving Killarney, we're on our way to beautiful areas of Cork. You're going to be getting out into the countryside, and this is where the famous Blarney Castle is located. I don't know if you can see the arrow on the screen. Anyway, where you're going to climb, if you can see it, but I'll explain it, is on the right side of the castle that goes all the way up to the top. All right. It is 110 steps. It is and it's spiral all the way up. You're going to come out, and if you see underneath there those dark areas, what you're going to do is you're going to bend over backwards and you're going to kiss the Blarney Stone. This is where our drivers, I think, hang out because they have so much Blarney in them and the stories they tell that they probably know it very well. And a sidebar here, my wife has said, well, when you retire, what are you going to do? And I said, well, I don't know. I don't play golf much anymore, and I sure don't build birdhouses, but I have an idea. We went down from the top of the castle, went to the office there, and I said, my wife was interested for me to retire, and I know the job I want to do after. I want to do what this guy is doing, holding on to people as they bend over to, and they said, they started laughing, and they said, well, you're going to have to wait a while. Right now, the wait list is 8 years. So I thought, well, I'm way too old then to do it. So, but this is what you're going to be doing. You're bending over and kissing the Blarney Stone. But the gardens, as I told you, whether you're by a castle or wherever, it is absolutely beautiful. And down the town of Blarney. You're going to be going also to the Marine Bar after that. You're going to have an opportunity to go in for not only a drink, but to listen to some Irish music. It's a very, very unique pub. I know you'll enjoy it. On your way to Waterford, and I think we probably all know what Waterford is known for. Your hotel, again, I don't know if you can see the arrow, but if you see the church there on the right side, it is the kind of the yellowish building right along the river. And it's absolutely all your towns, except for one, is right along a river. They're all built that way. But while you're here, you're going to have an opportunity to go to the Waterford Crystal. Everybody wants to go there. And what a little history on this, prior to the pandemic, and it was probably even a few more years beyond that, Waterford closed down their big warehouse here and their factory. It was located on the outside of town. They just found that the equipment and everything they had there just wasn't keeping up with the times, and they just felt that they should do this. However, Waterford did relocate. They built a factory downtown, if you want to call it downtown, is a village. And you're going to have an opportunity to go through it and see how they design it, they blow it, they carve it. It is absolutely a marvel to watch this in action. And this is where a lot of your crystal, when you see trophies for golf outings or tennis or whatever, are made. Not to include the one that's in New York that drops on New Year's. But you're going to have an opportunity to go, and they have a place in here that you can shop. And again, this was your hotel that I pointed out to you. Located, you're 3 blocks, not even that, from Waterford, for an example. Okay, we've left Waterford. We're heading back up towards Dublin. But on the way to Dublin, you're going to stop in Kilkenny. Kilkenny is unique. Well, before you leave, I apologize. Waterford, the guide is going to take you around and telling you the history, not only of because it's Waterford Crystal Company, everybody thinks of that, but it also has a lot of history here. And you're going to see the various things that are available. Kilkenny. All right. You're going to have the opportunity to go into Kilkenny Castle. It was owned by the Butler family way back in the early 1500s, all the way up to when he sold it in 67 it was. But you're going to have a chance to go in and see everything from the tapestry to the furniture as to the period of the time, and get to walk through all the rooms, lack of a better word, but you're going to see everything that they had available. And you're back in Dublin. You will have heard about this as you've traveled throughout Ireland, and it was the statues that towards the Great Famine. And you're going to hear about that when you're on the western side of Ireland. This happened back in the 1860s, and about 2 to 3 million people perished, but about 3 to 4 million people left Ireland to go not only to the United States, but to Australia, as well as up into Canada. Oh, tonight you'll have a chance to go into this pub and share a pint here and wine along with dinner. Oh, and the little characters off to the right, you will see leprechauns. They are readily available. I know I saw a few after having a few pints. Your hotel located right in Dublin, and you're here for 2 nights. But it will give you the opportunity then to take, and you're going to be getting tickets for the hop on, hop off bus. This bus will stop at 23 different locations. Now, if you've experienced the hop on, hop off in other cities, it's basically the same concept. You can get off, 6 minutes later, another coach comes, picks you up and takes you on. You can get on, get off all 23, but there may be things that don't interest you, so you just want to move on. All right, you're going to have a chance. And what I liked about it, the first time I took this, the driver sang about each stop that you were going to sing or about to see. He was fantastic. His voice was great. The stories were good. And I just loved listening to him. I stayed on the whole thing all the way around the city, which was probably an hour and a half. Well, we get to the final stop, and I thought, well, he's going to do more. Well, he gets off. I'm still sitting there, and I had to sit there for an hour to wait for another driver to get on. So, but this is the kind of thing you just want to enjoy it. But you're going to have an opportunity. You're going to get tickets for one of 4 places. One of them is Guinness, and you're going to have an opportunity to go through the Guinness warehouse. And it is something to see. In fact, let me go back. You're going to have a chance to go up to the 7th floor and learn how to pour the perfect pint. And it takes 1 minute and 18 seconds to do that. If you haven't had your pint of Guinness yet, you're going to have the chance to go to the very top of Guinness, and it's the Gravity Bar. And up there, you're going to get a panoramic view of all of Dublin. But there's where you get your first pint. Or if you want to go to Teeling's Distillery, you can do that. That's located right in Dublin, and the hop on, hop off bus stops there. Or you can do Epic. If any of you have roots, Irish roots, and usually a fair share do at one time or not, you're going to have a chance to go in here, and you're going to hear about the right now over 15,000 people that came right after the epidemic, or excuse me, the famine, that came to the United States. And you're going to hear the history about the Irish people, and you'd be surprised who has Irish blood. Whether it be a politician to a sports person or whatever it may be. But in here, you're also, if you have any background or any records of your grandparents or great grandparents, there is a genealogy center here, and you can talk with them. So if that's what you want to do, but just please don't walk in there and say, my name is Flanagan, where did I come from? Because it just doesn't work that way. You got to do a little history. Also, that coach stops at Trinity College, and it's just down the street from the Temple Bar area. But here is where you're going to find, if you decide you wanted to go in there, um, you can go in there, and that's where the books of Kells are located. And they were written by monks 800 AD. It is something to see. You're going to ask about the general post office. This is one of 4 tickets. I told you you got Guinness, Teelings, Epic Center, and then the post office. Why the post office? There's a museum here that tells you the history of Ireland during the Revolution. And this is where they stormed this place, and you're going to see pot marks in these columns and hear the history of the rebellion during that time frame of 1916. As you can see, there is a lot to learn, and there's a lot to see, and a lot of history here. Uh, and it's hard to absorb in a short period of time, but let me tell you, it's a great opportunity for you to see and learn about not only the history, but the people. A story I always like to tell is when I was there with my wife, I said, we're going to do the pint test. We're going to go into a pub and we're going to do the pint test. And she just looked at me and shook her head. And she said, all right, what are we doing? And I said, when we go in, sit down, before I've had 2 sips out of this, someone's going to come up and start talking to us. And would you believe, within 1 sip, this gentleman comes up, oh, lad, where you be from? And I told him I was from Gesundheit, Illinois. He just looked at me, and my wife, I always have to say, my wife gave me a healthy kick, because why would you say that? And so he's standing there, and pretty soon he said, oh, you must know Patty. Patty and the family, they moved there. Have you met them yet? And my wife started laughing because she said, he got you. Well, when I turned back and looked at him, he was already sitting down. And after 7 or 10 pints, we became the best of friends. He was telling me all about him and his family. And has he been to the States? He wanted to know all about us and our family. But this is where you meet the people, and you really must enjoy it. So Ireland, if the beauty and the culture don't bring you back, the people will. All right. And if you've got questions, one of us is able to answer it. And I know Kelly's been there. She's good at it. Jill's kissed the Blarney Stone a few times. I know she can tell you stories. So if there's anything we need, let us know.
There is one thing I just want to add real quick. We will also have group airfare option. We will use Delta nonstop in and out of Dublin from Minneapolis. And then of course we'll have travel insurance we can discuss. But those are 2 other things you can add to the tour just to kind of make it complete. So does anybody have any questions? I know Roger always covers things so well. Oh, Doris does. Doris, you want to unmute yourself? Or you can certainly put it in the chat if you want. Should be a little microphone in the corner of your screen. There you go.
What will the weather be like when we're there?
When I was there exactly the same time for 2 weeks, and the weather, I mean, it can rain. You always want to bring your raincoat along, but it was I think, Roger, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was in the 70s and really beautiful.
April is fantastic. You're not going to have a problem. It could be, there's chance of rain, but what I always tell people, make sure that you take layers. Just wear a light coat with a hood and to protect from the rain. Otherwise, it's like Kelly said, it's a great time to go.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And you'll enjoy the flowers and the beauty of it all.
Mhm.
A little bit quieter than when you're going in prime time summer, which is sort of nice.
Yes, you're absolutely correct. You're going at a great time. Any other questions? No?
You must have covered it well, Roger. So
Well, there'll be a lot of questions between now and then, but they can reach out to you, Jill and Kelly, and
Yep.
you can answer them for them.
yeah, and you can find, just give our office a call, or you can find on our Bursch Travel website under Bursch exclusive groups, the full brochure with registration pages listed on there. Or if you just call our main office number of 320-251-3180, they'll get you back to me in groups, and we can answer any questions or get you all taken care of. So, yeah. We appreciate you all coming today. So nice again to see all of your faces, and we hope to see you on the tour with us. So thanks, everyone. Thanks, Roger.
You're welcome. Have a great day, everybody.
All right, everybody, have a wonderful day.
All right.
Bye all.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.